Order. I wish to recognize the presence in the Speaker's Gallery of teachers from Nyabira Primary School. You are welcome. Thank you. I have to inform the House that I have received a non-adverse report from the Parliamentary Legal Committee on the Biological Toxin Weapons Crimes Bill, HB 5/2025. I also have to inform the House that following the presentation of the 2026 national budget in December 2025, Treasury has given Parliament the green light to start receiving applications for the Constituency Development Fund for 2026. Honorable members are encouraged to prioritize all unfinished projects before embarking on new ones. Honorable members who have not submitted their 2025 acquittals may not access the new funding. Are there any notices of motion? Honorable Matangira.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am. I stand to move a motion that this House, whereas Section 13 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe enjoins the state and all institutions and agencies of government at every level to facilitate rapid and equitable development, and in particular to ensure that communities benefit from the resources in their areas. I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable Matangira. Any further notices of motions? I recognize Honorable Metu, point of national interest.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker.
Good afternoon, Honorable Metu.
I rise today on a point of national interest with regards to a threat to Zimbabwe's HIV/TB response successes and our health workforce. Madam Speaker, I rise on a matter of national interest concerning the growing risk Thank you for your attention. I will start. I rise on a matter of national interest concerning the growing risk facing Zimbabwe's health systems following the withdrawal of external funding supporting HIV and TB programs. Hundreds of nurses and health workers serving in our government hospitals under externally funded programs, they face job losses on 31 March 2026 as USA supported ends. These workers are already carrying the burden of our public health services. Losing them will worsen staff shortages, thereby putting our lives in danger. I urgently call upon government to immediately absorb these workers into the national payroll. Madam Speaker, sir, our HIV and TB stable patients who previously received 6 months of ARV supplies are now receiving only 3 months, signaling a declining stock. TB medicines are also reportedly running low, creating a real danger of treatment interruption, drug resistance, and preventable deaths. A recently launched HIV prevention injection, Lenacapavir, is already out of stock. Since many hospitals, including Epworth Polyclinic, people who come for the vaccine are being turned away. Madam Speaker, sir, these are warning signs of a potential reversal of gains in our fight against HIV and TB. I therefore implore the government to urgently absorb the health workers whose contracts are expiring end of March 2026. procure enough medicines, and allow HIV and TB stable patients to revert back to their normal 6 months routine. I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable Metu. I recognize the Honorable Minister, Honorable Dina.
A point of privilege, Madam Speaker.
What is your point of privilege?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My point of privilege relates to the point of national interest that I raised 7 days ago in this House. I raised a point of national interest on the rapid rise of fuel in this country, which happened last week, Wednesday. And the Speaker then said, because part of that request was that the Minister of Energy and Power Development come to this House to give a ministerial statement on the situation with fuel. And we expected that to happen on Tuesday, but today is Thursday. The Minister still has not come to this House to give a ministerial statement. In any other jurisdiction, Parliament would be informed of such a rise due to whatever reason. So I do plead with you, Madam Speaker, that the Minister do come to this House to give a ministerial statement on the situation with the fuel in this country. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mateo. I've taken note of that. Thank you. Honorable Government Chief Whip.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that orders number 1 to order number 4 be stood over until order number 5 has been disposed of.
Who seconds?
I second, Madam Speaker.
The clerk will read the 5th order of the day.
Committee to resume on the consideration of the advice report by the Parliamentary Legal Committee on the State Service Pensions Bill, HB 9, 2024.
The whole House will be in committee.
Order. The Committee of the Whole House will take into consideration the adverse report from the Parliamentary Legal Committee on the State Service Pensions Bill, HB 9, 2024. Is there any further debate? I recognize the Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to give you a notice of amendments on the State Pensions Bill.
Order, Honourable Minister. Please, can you approach the chair? Can you please approach the chair? Can you please approach the chair? Please approach the chair. And switch off your mic. Thank you. Order. Yes, Honorable Deputy Minister, you may go ahead. You may go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to respond on the adverse report of the Parliamentary Legal Committee on the State Services Pensions Bill. We have already made the amendments which are on page 746 of the standing order. So on the long title,
Honorable Minister, it's page 746 of the
order paper.
Of the order paper, yes.
Of the order paper. I beg your pardon. On the long title, the long title does not speak to the doctrine of separation of powers nor infringe it in any way, but it summarizes the contents of the bill. If there is any violation of the doctrine, a request is hereby sought for the committee to draw our attention to any of the operative or substantive provisions of the bill which violate that doctrine. It is used for the interpretation of the bill where there is ambiguity. Furthermore, the bill seeks to establish a state service pension fund. The fund will provide for payments of pensions, gratuities, and other benefits in respect of the retirement of persons employed by the state. If the fund is established, all state pension obligations will be met through this fund. So it is worth noting that the provisions of the bill do not affect the conditions of service.
On a point of order, Chair.
Order, Honorable Minister. Yes, Honorable Sharia.
Honorable Chair, I need to understand what the Honorable Minister is doing, because according to Standing Order 144, subsection 4B, when there is an adverse report, our standing orders requires that the minister responsible must be given a reasonable opportunity to respond to the report. And the first thing that we need to hear from the Honorable Minister is to respond to the report tabled by the PLC before she actually then goes to tell us. She has to accept to say, does the ministry accept the reasoning profiled by the PLC? That is supposed to be the first entry. Then once she does that, she then goes to say other things. Because right now we are lost. What is she saying? She's supposed to respond to the report of the PLC. That's what our standing order says.
Thank you, Honorable Sharia. The chair had also advised the Honorable Minister to do exactly that. So I was of the notion that maybe she was going to end with that issue. Honorable Minister, like we spoke here, you need to just respond to the report on your position as the ministry. Yes, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The ministry is in agreement with the issues that were raised by the Parliamentary Legal Committee, and we have made amendments which are in the on page 746 of the order paper. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Yes, Honorable Mshariwa.
Mr. Chair, we hear what the Honorable Minister is saying, that they are accepting that the POC was correct in their finding. And they are telling us that they've actually done some amendments that they put on the order paper. This House, Mr. Chair, relies on the POC to advise us whether those amendments that the Honorable Minister is proffered meet the tests of the constitutionality. And in our view, Chair, would then be happier to hear the POC advising us that having passed the advisory report, the ministry having considered to it, and then having come up with the proposed amendments, would those proposed amendments meet the constitutional tests? And so that at least this House would then be able to make a decision. Because according to our standing orders, we are supposed to accept the report of the POC. And it is the POC that is supposed to then guide this House to then advise us, this House, whether or not those amendments that are being proposed, if enacted, would they change the bill so that it aligns with the provision of the Constitution? And to that extent, Mr. Chair, I will be happier to hear the POC so that at least we'll be able to guide this House in terms of our debate.
Thank you, Honorable Mshariwa. Yes, Honorable Zobo.
Yes, Mr. Chair. My understanding is that the minister has withdrawn the bill. By accepting that the PLC was correct, the minister has in fact firstly withdrawn.
Order, Honorable Zobo.
Yes.
Just 1 minute. Let me have a bit of consultation. Please approach the desk there. Order. Let me recognize the Honorable Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that we report progress and seek leave to sit again. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. It has been moved that I report progress and seek leave to sit again. Is there any objection? No objection agreed to. I shall now report progress and seek leave to sit again. Madam Speaker, the Committee of the Whole House has considered the report of the Parliamentary Legal Committee on the State Service Pensions Bill, HB 9/2024, and it reports progress and seeks leave to sit again.
Thank you. What day for the resumption of the committee?
To 7 April, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. I recognize the government chief whip.
Madam Speaker, I move that orders order number 6 to order number 18 be stood over until order number 19 has been disposed of.
Who seconds?
I second, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Notice of motion number 19, Honorable Bajila.
Notice of motion number 19, Madam Speaker.
Who seconds?
I second, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Bajila.
Madam Speaker, I rise to move this motion on the adoption of artificial intelligence assisted systems in the recruitment and shortlisting of student nurses and student teachers in Zimbabwe, a matter that sits at the intersection of equity, integrity, and national development. Madam Speaker, there are moments when the credibility of public systems must be confronted with candor and with ornament. The recruitment of student nurses and trainee teachers is one such moment. It is a process that determines not only who is trained, but ultimately who will stand at the front line of our healthcare and education system, entrusted with the lives and dignity of our people. Yet, Madam Speaker, in a context where applications far outstrip available training spaces, the integrity of this process becomes both a moral obligation and a matter of national consequence. It must be beyond reproach, it must be defensible, and above all, it must be anchored in merit. Madam Speaker, at the core of this motion is the need to firmly cement the integrity and credibility of recruitment processes into both student, nurse, and teacher training institutions in Zimbabwe. The demand for training in these critical public service professions has grown markedly over the years, driven by a combination of factors, including expanding healthcare needs, increasing enrollment pressures within the education sector, demographic shifts, and the sustained global demand for Zimbabwean trained professionals. At the same time, Madam Speaker, training institutions continue to operate within finite capacity, constrained by infrastructure, teaching personnel, and fiscal limitations. The result is a widening disparity between the number of qualified applicants and the limited space available for training across both sectors. This imbalance, Madam Speaker, has in effect transformed what ought to be a routine administrative exercise into a high-stakes and intensively competitive process. Each application cycle carries with significant, Each application cycle now carries significant consequences, not only for the individuals involved, but for the broader health and education systems that depend on the caliber of those selected. In such a context, the shortlisting process ceases to be a mere procedural step. It becomes the decisive gateway through which merit must be rigorously assessed, safeguarded, and seen to prevail across both nursing and teacher training pathways. It is precisely because of this pressure that any perceived opacity or inconsistency invites legitimate concern. Where demand is higher and opportunity is scarce, even marginal weaknesses in the system can be exploited, thereby undermining fairness and eroding public confidence. What is therefore required is not only efficiency, but a system that is demonstrably credible, resilient, and insulated from undue influence. Madam Speaker, the scale of imbalance is neither abstract nor anecdotal. It is stark and quantifiable. Zimbabwe needs in excess of 100,000 applications. Zimbabwe records in excess of 100,000 applications for nurse training manually, yet available training capacity remains limited to approximately 1,200. In effect, fewer than one in every 100 applicants secures admission. At the level of individual institutions, the disparity is even more pronounced. Major central hospitals routinely receive between 5,000 and 8,000 applications per intake, but admit fewer than 100 trainees per cycle, while smaller training schools often enroll as few as 15 to 20 students, Madam Speaker. This pattern is not confined to the health sector. While teacher training similarly constrained, within teacher training, a similarly constrained pipeline persists. Zimbabwe's education system employs over 150,000 teachers, yet teacher training colleges, limited in number and capacity, typically enroll only a few hundred students per institution across their respective intakes. Consequently, thousands of aspiring educators compete annually for a relatively small number of training opportunities, reinforcing a system where demand consistently outstrips supply. Madam Speaker, these figures are not merely descriptive, they are dispositive. They reveal a system under a sustained pressure where access is scarce and competition is intense. In such an environment, even the slightest compromise in the integrity of the selection process ceases to be a minor administrative flaw. It becomes a profound injustice with far-reaching implications for both public trust and service delivery. It is precisely within such a constrained and high-pressure environment that systemic vulnerabilities have begun to crystallize into something far more troubling. Recent developments have exposed not isolated lapses, but a pattern of irregularity within the recruitment of student nurses that calls for urgent and decisive intervention. Investigations by the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission have brought to light serious allegations and institutions such as Chinhoyi Provincial Hospital, where officials responsible for recruitment were accused of soliciting bribes, manipulating shortlisting processes, and even leaking interview questions to preferred candidates ahead of assessment. Further evidence emerging from the investigations points to a deeply concerning commodification of opportunity, where prospective students have reportedly been required to pay between $1,200 and $1,500 in order to secure training placements, effectively transforming access to public training institutions into a transactional exercise rather than a merit-based one. In addition, Madam Speaker, cases involving the use of fraudulent academic qualifications have been reported, exposing critical weaknesses in verification systems and institutional oversight. These developments are compounded by long-standing concerns around nepotism and favoritism, where selection outcomes are influenced by personal connections, thereby reducing formal recruitment processes to little more than procedural formalities. Madam Speaker, what emerges from this body of evidence is a system that, under sustained pressure, has become susceptible to manipulation at multiple levels, from shortlisting and interviews to final administrations. In such a context, merit ceases to be the primary determinant of opportunity and is instead diluted by financial capacity and access to persons responsible. This is not merely administrative failure, it is a systemic distortion of far-reaching implications. When recruitment into a profession as critical as nursing is compromised, the consequences extend beyond questions of fairness into the very fabric of public service delivery. The erosion of standards and at the point of entry inevitably affects the quality of training, the competence of graduates, and ultimately the standard of care delivered to our beloved citizens, thereby undermining public confidence in both institutions and the outcomes therein. Madam Speaker, what we are witnessing is not simply administrative weakness, but a clear deviation from the constitutional and statutory principles that are meant to anchor fairness, transparency, and accountability within our public institution. The Constitution of Zimbabwe provides an unambiguous standard against which such practices must be measured. Section 56 of our Constitution guarantees equality and non-discrimination, affirming that every person has the right to equal protection and benefit of the law. In the context of recruitment into critical public service professions, Madam Speaker, such as nursing and teaching, this provision requires that access to training opportunities be determined strictly on the basis of merit without undue influence arising from financial capacity, personal connections, and extraneous considerations. Further, Section 68 of our beloved Constitution entrenches the right to fair and administrative justice, ensuring that every person is entitled to lawful, reasonable, and procedural administrative conduct. A recruitment system that is opaque, inconsistent, or susceptible to manipulation stands in direct contradiction to this constitutional guarantee. Complementing this is Section 194, which sets out the basic values and the principles guiding public administration, including transparency, accountability, efficiency, and the requirement that public institutions be conducted in a manner that inspires public confidence. Recruitment processes for both nursing and teacher training institutions fall squarely within the ambit of these obligations. Madam Speaker, beyond the Constitution, statutory frameworks such as the Public Service Act, Chapter 16.04, particularly Section 18 therein, governs the appointments within the public service. This section underscores the importance of merit, suitability, and adherence to established procedural measures. This is reinforced by the broader mandate of the Public Service Commission under Section 3 to ensure proper administration and integrity across public institutions. Taken together, these provisions establish a clear legal imperative that recruitment into both nursing and teaching pipelines must be conducted in a manner that is equitable, transparent, and beyond reproach. Any system that falls short of this standard is not merely inefficient, it is constitutionally deficient. Madam Speaker, it is against this backdrop that this motion proposes a deliberate framework and forward-looking intervention, which is the adoption of artificial intelligence-based systems in shortlisting and the recruitment of student nurses. The intervention of this intention is neither to displace human judgment nor mechanize a fundamentally human process, but rather to strengthen it by introducing systems that are consistent, transparent, and resistant to manipulation, Madam Speaker. Artificial intelligence has the capacity to process large volumes of applications within a level of uniformity that manual systems cannot reliably sustain. Applying preferred criteria such as academic performance, subject combinations, and eligibility requirements in a manner that is both systemic and auditable. In practical terms, such systems can ensure that every application is assessed against the same objective standard, thereby minimizing discretion at initial stages of recruitment where vulnerabilities are most pronounced. They can also incorporate verification mechanisms that flag inconsistencies in subject qualifications, reducing risk of fraudulent entry into training programs. In doing so, Madam Speaker, artificial intelligence does not eliminate human oversight. Rather, it repositions it to a higher level of review and accountability where decisions can be interrogated against a transparent and traceable system. Madam Speaker, the proposition before this House is neither novel nor experimental in the global context. It is aligned with an emerging trajectory in public administration and education systems worldwide. In India, for instance, Universal AI University has implemented an AI-driven admissions system that automates candidate screening, conducts virtual interviews, and evaluates applications using standardized digital criteria, significantly reducing, therefore, the human interference while improving efficiency and transparency. Similarly, countries such as Brazil and Estonia have moved to integrate artificial intelligence within public systems not only to enhance service delivery, but also detect anomalies, reduce fraud, and improve decision-making within large, scalable administrative processes. In Brazil, the National AI Plan explicitly incorporates AI tools to identify irregularities in public systems and optimize administrative decision-making, demonstrating how technology can be leveraged to strengthen institutional integrity. Madam Speaker, while the potential benefits of AI in strengthening recruitment systems are evident, its adoption must be approached with deliberate caution and a clear ethical framework. The introduction of such technology into public decision making raises legitimate concerns around data privacy, algorithmic bias, and accountability, all of which must be proactively addressed to ensure that the system enhances rather than undermines fairness. Artificial intelligence systems, therefore, are only as reliable as the data and criteria upon which they are built. And without proper safeguards, there is a risk that existing inequalities may be inadvertently reproduced within automated processes. It is for this reason that international best practices, including guidance from UNESCO on artificial intelligence in education and public systems, emphasize the principle of transparency, explainability, and human oversight. Any AI-assisted recruitment system must therefore be designed in such a way that its decision-making process can be interrogated, understood where necessary, and challenged. This ensures that the system does not become a black box, but rather a transparent tool that supports accountable governance. Madam Speaker, what therefore emerges is not merely a case for technological adoption, but compelling argument for systemic reform anchored in integrity, efficiency, and fairness. The introduction of artificial intelligence-assisted shortlisting systems presents an opportunity to decisively confront long-standing weaknesses within our recruitment processes, while aligning Zimbabwe with contemporary approaches to public administration. It offers a pathway through which merit can be safeguarded, processes can be standardized, and institutional credibility can be restored in a manner that is both practical and sustainable. This House is therefore presented with a clear and a reasoned choice to retain a system that has shown susceptibility to manipulation, or to take a deliberate step towards strengthening it through innovation that is both guided and accountable. The adoption of AI, Madam Speaker, in this context is not an abstract aspiration. It is a pragmatic response to a clearly defined challenge, one that speaks directly to the principles of equity, transparency, and excellence that we seek to uphold as a country. Madam Speaker, as we bring this matter to a close, it is instructive to reflect on the position already articulated within this very institution of Parliament. The Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Advocate J.F.N. Mudenda, speaking at the 57th Plenary Assembly Session of the SADC Parliamentary Forum in the mighty Victoria Falls, emphasized that, and I quote, "Artificial intelligence is now a reality of life, whether we like it or not," close quote. He further underscored the need for legislative frameworks to guide its responsible adoption and advancing national development. The recognition is therefore both timely and profound. It underscores the fact that the question before us is no longer whether artificial intelligence will be integrated into our systems or not, but how deliberately responsible and effectively we choose to harness it. In this regard, the proposal to adopt AI-assisted recruitment in the selection of student nurses and trainee teachers is fully aligned with the national vision one that embraces innovation and technology as a vehicles for transparency, efficiency, and inclusive development. In embracing this motion, Madam Speaker, this House will not merely be responding to a present challenge, but will be the forefront of a transformative shift in public administration. We will be affirming, Madam Speaker, that merit must prevail over manipulation, that systems must inspire confidence, and that technology, when guided by principle, can serve as a powerful instrument of justice. Therefore, I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Bajila. The question before the House is a motion by Honorable Bajila as set forth on page 726 of today's order paper. Is there any debate? Honorable Amospa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity to second a motion eloquently moved by Honorable Bajila, giving a candid expose of the current weaknesses characterizing the recruitment systems that are being used to recruit teachers and nurses in our country. Madam Speaker, ma'am, this is not only a timely motion, but it is also a necessary one. Because as Honorable Bajila highlighted, that artificial intelligence is now the way of life that is actually shaping and influencing the way we do business. The issues raised are neither speculative nor peripheral. They go to the very heart of how this nation allocates opportunities within two of its most critical public service professions, that is teaching and nursing. This motion identifies a structural weakness that has persisted over time. Madam Speaker, ma'am, there have been a lot of concerns raised by the citizens of Zimbabwe, where they alleged that in the recruitment of teachers and nurses, there is a lot of corruption and in nepotism, and at the end, the system has been described as something that is not fair. The allocation of training opportunities in these sectors is increasingly come under strain as the number of applicants continues to grow, far outpacing the capacity of training institutions. So in such an environment, Madam Speaker, ma'am, the integrity of shortlisting process becomes paramount. Therefore, fairness must be demonstrated, not assumed. It must be seen to be done, and it must not just be heard, but fairness must be seen to be happening in the recruitment of these two critical professions. However, as has already been articulated, reliance on largely manual systems has exposed the process to inconsistencies and in some instances manipulation. Where discretion is broad and systems are insufficiently standardized, there is risk, Madam Speaker, ma'am, of bias, favoritism, and even outright corruption that may actually be difficult to contain. This is not merely an administrative inconvenience, it is actually a distortion of opportunity and undermines public confidence and compromises the caliber of those entering professions that are central to national development. Madam Speaker, ma'am, it is interesting to note that artificial intelligence-based recruitment systems are faster and they are also smarter in the way they reduce the current weaknesses that we have been witnessed in our country. Madam Speaker, ma'am, AI recruitment systems can work 24/7, which is an advantage. They can, the tools can actually use an intelligent agent that can actually conduct interviews 24/7 around the clock without any challenges. And this is where this country should be going. And there are, in 2026, Madam Speaker, ma'am, there are around 18 top AI tools that are being used in HR and also for recruitment purposes. For example, the Paradox, HireView, JuiceBox, SeekOut, all these tools, they can be applied and enhance recruitment and bring the much needed confidence in the recruitment systems. And this system can also be applied even into other public service professions and can even be adopted by the private sector, because it enhances the recruitment processes and eliminates some of the challenges that are being faced. It is precisely for this reason, Madam Speaker, ma'am, that the proposal to integrate artificial intelligence assisted system deserves serious consideration. Such systems offer the possibility of introducing uniformity, traceability, and objectivity to the initial stages of recruitment. Madam Speaker, ma'am, there is something that is also done by artificial intelligence tools, which is important. They can actually pick and fish out what candidates post on their social media platforms. And this can be used to see the suitability of someone to be recruited into nursing or into a teaching profession. Why is it necessary, Madam Speaker, ma'am, to check what prospective candidates post on their social media platforms? It reflects their culture. It reflects their behavior even towards maybe gender equality and other critical issues that are really important. So when you apply these artificial intelligence tools, they really enhance the quality of the candidates that are going to be recruited, Madam Speaker, ma'am. Zimbabwe therefore stands at a point where it can draw from some of the experiences that have adopted AI tools in the HR departments. And this is good to also see what other countries are actually doing in other universities across the world. They are already teaching or having courses where artificial intelligence tools are being integrated into HR systems. So I submit, Madam Speaker, ma'am, that this is the right time that the Zimbabwean government think through and rethink how AI can be integrated into our HR systems and all other related systems. Madam Speaker, ma'am, it is also important to emphasize that the adoption of such systems must be guided by clear ethical and regulatory frameworks. It is our hope that this parliament is going to come up with or to engage with the executive to make sure that the regulatory frameworks are in place such that AI too is going to promote development. It will not be viewed as something that is anathema to development, but something that enhances development, something that will not bring more harm than the expected benefits. Issues of data protection, Madam Speaker, ma'am, are also important to consider when we are going to adopt this IA and its related tools for recruitment purposes. Madam Speaker, ma'am, this motion, as I said, ultimately advances technology, not just for its own sake, but for the restoration of trust in the public processes. As I said, the trust in the recruitment processes last week, Madam Speaker, ma'am, in this House, there were concerns. A question was raised on the recruitment of soldiers in our country, and the fears were allayed by the Minister of Defense, but still, because people are complaining, and this is the tool that is coming at the right time to make sure that there is restoration of public trust in the recruitment of the public in the public service. It is about ensuring that access to training in both nursing and teaching is determined by merit, integrity, and fairness, and these values are consistent, as Honorable Bajila has said, with our constitutional principles and our national aspirations. And I also believe strongly that the adoption of these two is actually in line with the National Artificial Intelligence Strategy that was launched last week. And these two seeks to take advantage of AI tools such as maybe adopting methods like automation, and I think this is in line with national
Honorable
aspirations.
members, may we lower our voices?
As I conclude, Madam Speaker, ma'am, in my support of this motion, I strongly believe that there is need to put the systems in place to make sure that everything that is needed from regulatory in terms also of training is put in place to make sure that our universities will also come up with our homegrown systems that are in artificial intelligence based to support government initiatives. And this too, I am sure, Madam Speaker, ma'am, is going to be celebrated in our country. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Amauskwa. Next to take the floor is Honorable Mapiki.
Maita basambado echigaro. Chokutanga toda kutenda motion yakaunzwa na Honorable Bajira. Yakatikoshera zvakakwana, ndinoda kuti nditsigire zvakakwana. Nekuti nyaya iri kuitika munyika inozopedzisira zvinhu zvedu zvisina kufamba zvakanaka. Ndofunga nyaya yekupinzwa basa kwematicha kana manesi. Kuri kumanesi kuri kunzi aiwa province yega yega inofanira kupiwa kota yayo. Saka kota yekunzi pari kuda kupinzwa basa yoenda kuMarsh West yosvika ikoko kusvikawo kuchinzi kota iyoyo kuti tizozwa kuti inenge yafamba sei, inenge isina kufamba zvakanaka. Kana zvadaro zvinofanira kuti kana munhu ega ega atsvaga basa ngapawe pane nyaya yekuti anenge asingazikane kuti ndiani poshandisawo artificial intelligence iyoyo kuti ma-applications ake aende. Zvinobva zvaenda futi nenyaya yekuti muZimbabwe yekunzi vana vakawanda kana kuti vamwe vari kuzopedzisira vane ma-certificate asiri iwo. Saka panofanira kutenge pane zvakafanana nezvakaproposwa muparamendi muno kuti mwana achitanga kutorwa birth certificate anofanira kunge achitorwa inonzi DNA kuti aoneke kuti mwana iyeyu ndo baba wake here kana kuti amai vake vari kumutoresa birth certificate. Saka zvakangofanana futi nekuti macertificate avo pavanoenda kunoapraya vanofanira kuonekwa kuti ndiwo chaivo chaivo here, pasazoti mwana apedza 4 years kana kuti 3 years aenda uzonzi aiwa pepa rake handiro akudzoserwa futi uku pamwe akumbosungwa. Saka zvinofanira kunge zvichinge zvichitariswa izvozvo. Ndaifunga kuti artificial intelligence inofanira kuti kana kuri kumaticha ngapati pakupindwa basa kwematicha inge ichitoshandiswa zvakati kwanei, nokuti vamwe vari kuapraya kana kuti vari kuisa mapepa avo kuti vari kuda basa iri vanotora makore nemakore, but mumwe vanoapraya mangwana unonzwa kunzi hawana basa nokuti anenge ano akawanda vaanoziva. Izvozvo kuwana wakawanda vaanoziva zvinozopedzisira kuti vana vasikana vange vachiabhuswa kana kuti kushungurudzwa panyaya dzepabonde, nokuti zvinobva zvadzokera kuna vamatawiri vakatanga vandida kuti ukwanise kuwana basa. Saka izvozvo zvokuti tinge tichishandisa artificial intelligence panyaya yokuapraya basa hapana mumwe munhu anenge achiona kuti ndiani akazomira akaita sei. Ndaitofunga kuti kana iyo artificial intelligence kumakoreji neiko kumaticha kwavanoenda kumakoreji kwavanoenda vanotofanira futi kutenge ichishandiswa panyaya dzokumaka basa ravanenge vachiita, kwete kuti munhu anomaka nokuti patakambofambira mayunivhesiti akati wandei vana vasikana nevakomana vaiti vanhu vanotidzidzisa ingori nyaya imwe chete iyoyo yekuti tanga wandida kana kuti ita zvakadai kuti zvizodai. Izvo futi zvinogona kuti macertificate anobuda asiri munhu ane unyanzvi hwake, nokuti pane inenge yakunzi third party yazoshanda kuti mwana azokwanisa kuona certificate. Izvo zvinoita kuti kana akapuwa basa racho kana kuri kunesi kana kuteaching zvinge zvisingabudi somatarisiro atinenge richizviita izvozvo. Saka ndaifunga kuti wabhajira waunza Honorable Bajira waunza nyaya yakanaka yatiri kufunga kuti tinge tichiteera. muzimbabwe muno muchete nyaya dzeartificial intelligence ndozati tichiri kumashure zvakanyanya, nekuti kunyika dzakafanana nana Japan, vana South Korea nedzimwewo nyika dzakabudira dzimwe dziri kubudirira waakushanda zvakanyanya nenyaya yeartificial intelligence, nekuti paitofana kunge pane maplatform kana kuti amene kuti tingataure kuti zvipi sezvinoshandisa neEconet wane platform chavanoshandisa chekuti kana uda kumaka kana zvinhu chaizvo ukangoti my day anobva akutaurira zvese zvauri kutsvaga ipapo. Saka ndaifunga kuti nyaya yeartificial intelligence inofanira kunge tichitora toiisa iri kubvara zvakawanda. Nyaya yekubhadhara yechioko muhomwe iri kubva iko kunovada kutsvaga basa kumanesi, vada kutsvaga basa kumaticha, vanhu vakutotora iyo sebusiness rokuti vange vachiwana mari, nokuti vari muofisi imomo vanenge vachiti mbudzi ngaidye payakasungirirwa. Unozoona kumanesi kana kuri kwangu kuconstituency vana vakawanda vari kuchema nokuna apraiva manesi, nokuti vanochajiwa ma400 500 kana 1000 kuti vaende pawaiting list. Pamwe pacho vanozopedzisira zvakare vasina kupinda pawaiting list iyoyo. Kana kumaticha zvinhu zvimwe chete izvozvo. Asi ndiri kuona kuti dambudziko iri riri kukonzerwa nokuti muZimbabwe tine matraining center ematicha kana emanesi mashoma. Ndaitarisa nyika inedzi Ghana, ukaenda kune imwe province inenge ine 4 kana 5 matraining center. Izvo zvinozoita kuti vanhu vakawanda varege kunyanya kunge vari kumhanyira kachikoro ka training center kamwe chete. Province yega yega sezvakaita maSonai Central inofanira kuita 4, Midlands inoita 4, Marshwest zvoenda zvakadaro. Panenge pasisina mukana wekuti vanhu vanyanye kumhanyirira. Ndinoshaya hangu kuti chinonyanya kutitadzisa kuti tinge tichiita izvo zvinhu ndezvipi, nekuti tikaenda kuMai Central kune 1 Madziva Teachers College, nyangwe mauniversity akunga akubatsira, asi ngatitorei mukana iwoyo wekuti tiwakise matraining center kana kuti zvikoro zvinotraina varairidzi, kuitira kuti parege kusimba pachingonesa nenyaya dzekuti munhu akutobvisa mari kuti anga apindepo. KuMai Central tine Madziva Teachers College, asi hatina inotraina vanhu vanodzidza nezvidzidzo zvesekondari, vanoenda kuBelvedere nokumwe. Izvo zvinozopedzisira zvaakuita kuti ikoko kuti wapindewo ikoko zvinenge zvichinesa. Saka ndaingofunga kuti hurumende inofanira kunge ine policy sezvatikuita kuvaka zvikoro zvichibatsirana navabereki kuti tiwakewo matraining center akafanana neemanesi. Hatina zvingatirambidze kuti kuMai Central kana kuti kuMai Central kuite 3 kana 4, kana kutoti nyaya yacho idzikiswe kuenda kumadistrict zvakaita seChamba District Hospital inofanira kunge ichipuhwa mukana nezvikwanisiro zvokuti itraine vanhu vokuChamba ikoko, wobva wazopedzisira havo wakuenda kuitira kuti wakasemba wachitrainwa kunzvimbo kumwe chete, ndoba munozopedzisira moona kuti munhu asingazive language yekubhinga anenge akumanikidzwa kuenda ikoko kuti anorapira ikoko, nokuti vanenge vari vashoma, vanenge vatrainwa kuparenyatwa kana kuti kupi. Saka ndaifunga kuti ipapo sepolisi yehurumende inofanira kubva yaendererawo zvakakwana kuti tiise matraining center kumadistrict, kwete kuti timirire kumaprovince, kuitira kuti tikamure huori kuitika mukutambira awo macertificate nezvimwe zvakadaro. Saka ndaiti aiwa Honorable Bajira wauya nenyaya yakanaka yokuti zvinhu izvo zvidai tanga tazvitora takwanisa kuti tizviite zvinhu zvedu zvinotifambira zvakanaka. Maministry ese panyaya dzeartificial intelligence dai vanga vakwanisa kuti vakwanise kumiramira chaizvo, nekuti Zimbabwe iri kusaririra. Ndakationa kuJapan patakamboenda, kuSouth Korea patakaendako, taitoona chembere dzese dzichitokwanisa kutodhirivharirwa zvinhu nemadrones ende dzichikwanisa kuonekwa kunzi pamba padzo dziripo here. Kana isina kuita movement ipapo vanoziva kuti chembere yedu iri apa iyi haina kuonekwa, pakutotumwa vanhu paground kunoona kuti sei zvaita izvozvo. Saka nyika dzakawanda dzaakutora artificial intelligence yakanyanya. Ndakaona kuChina vakatoita masvondo yapera vaitotaura kuti vane 36,000 emadrones anoita basa rokuhavhesa mafruits. Saka panyaya dzeartificial intelligence seZimbabwe tiri kusaririra, panyaya dzeutano idzodzo tiri kusaririra. Ndinoda kuatenda Honorable Bajira ndikutsigira zvakakwana nemuono wamaita pamaunza motion yenyu. ndinokutendai mubati wechigaro nomukana wamandipa.
Mazvita Honorable Mapiki. Honorable Mafudzi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity. And I want to thank Honorable Bajila and Honorable Amaoskwa for raising this motion. I rise, Madam Speaker, to debate on this motion which has been raised by Honorable Bajila and seconded by Honorable Amaoskwa. A motion that speaks to the adoption of AI, artificial intelligence, in shortlisting student nurses and teachers in Zimbabwe. This is a very important motion which speaks to pertinent issues critical in addressing the confusion and the rot that we have witnessed in the nurses recruitment system in the country. Madam Speaker, let us be honest about the state of our recruitment system. Every year, thousands of young Zimbabweans queue at the doorsteps of our nursing schools and teacher training colleges to apply. Most of them get denied, not on merit, but because of the rot in the system. Madam Speaker, the demand for places for education, teacher education training and nurse training far exceeds the supply. Yet the system we rely on to shortlist candidates is archaic, retrograded, and a relic of the past. It is a manual process, slow, laborious, and prone to human error. A qualified candidate can easily be overlooked, lost in the sea of paperwork, or unfairly judged due to subjective bias. Such inefficiency fosters the Unozivani syndrome, where only those connected to individuals in the corridors of power gain admission, whilst the downtrodden talent, young women and men are relegated to the dustbins of demise. This anathema, Madam Speaker, demoralizes our youth and undermines the meritocracy of our Constitution. At the core of this motion, Madam Speaker, is the idea of fairness, which has been elaborated unequivocally by Honorable Bajila, Honorable Mapiki, and Honorable Amaoskwa, who have debated before me. Madam Speaker, AI removes bias, removes fatigue, and the influence of personal connections. The student who has worked hard, studied diligently, and meets all the criteria must be shortlisted, not the one with connections. This gives every applicant an equal chance. We must restore public confidence in our recruitment systems, and the only way we can do it at this very moment is the use of AI. Madam Speaker, the introduction of AI is not about replacing humans. It is about augmenting the capacity and fairness of the system. The use of AI will enhance objectivity, reduce bias, clientelism, and corruption, maladies which have since become an order of the day in the teacher training institutions and nursing schools alike. This initiative, Madam Speaker, as it reduces human interface with the recruitment system, sorry, I'll take that one. This initiative, Madam Speaker, as it reduces human interface with the recruitment system, it also augurs and or augments the fairness of the process. An AI algorithm, Madam Speaker, does not have a relative. An automated process cares less about cousins. An intelligent system is not gullible to neighbors. It examines grades, subjects, prerequisites with clinical impartiality, ensuring that best candidates rise on merit alone. It is important to note that the use of AI in the selection process is by no means a replacement of humans. That this must be emphasized. AI handles the administrative tasks of shortlisting. Interviews, assessments are done by the staff, as it has always been happening. Madam Speaker, the speed with which these applications are processed will be increased as well. Upon submitting applications, prospective students are forced to wait for months without ending before receiving responses from these institutions. As a matter of fact, even after having been rejected, usually they do not even receive correspondence from these institutions. What takes a committee 3 weeks to process can be done in mere minutes by an AI or a chatbot. The use of AI, Madam Speaker, also fosters geographical fairness in the selection process. By digitizing the process, a child in Chiendambuya, in Binga, in Chipinge, in Malipati can also have an equal opportunity as a child in Harare. No region, no district or community can be disadvantaged. A child in the most remote area in Zimbabwe should not have to spend their last zig notes on the bus to a few nursing schools or teacher training centers just to drop off a form. An AI can do that in seconds via a mobile portal. The use of AI in this process, Madam Speaker, also engenders digital inclusion. The use of, we have got a lot of ICT centers in every district in this country. They can then also assist in making this process a bit more efficient. Madam Speaker, there are several countries that have been using this system in hiring and streamlining the recruitment process. Countries like South Africa, countries like Kenya and Mauritius have also been using this system. It has proven in those countries that it is an efficient system. Now, as I conclude, Madam Speaker, if we wish to achieve the aspirations of National Development Strategy 2, we have to revolutionize our recruitment process. AI is a tool of fairness, efficiency, and equity. It strengthens institutions and empowers youth. It restores faith in public recruitment. I so submit. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mafudzi. Next to take the floor is Honorable Chidua.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, ma'am. I rise to support the motion that has been moved by Honorable Bajila, which calls for the use of artificial intelligence in the shortlisting and recruitment of teachers and nurses in Zimbabwe. Honorable Speaker, ma'am, the motion is both timely and progressive. What we are looking at is not the replacement of human beings with machines, but rather the motion seeks to ensure that technology is used to make our recruitment systems more efficient, transparent, and fair. In Zimbabwe, Madam Speaker, nurses and teachers are the backbone of our health and education sector. If we recruit the nurses and teachers slowly, unfairly, and inefficiently, the consequences are going to be serious. And these consequences, we will see them in the products that we will witness as we move around. And we will also see them when we look at the health of our country. Hospitals, if the recruitment is not done timely, they will remain understaffed. Schools will remain without qualified teachers, or they will also remain understaffed. Rural communities will not be served well, and this is going to move against the spirit of inclusivity, where under Vision 2030 we say every place should be covered. So what does artificial intelligence mean for us, especially when we are looking at recruitment? When applications are received, these applications are sorted in time. Imagine what the mover of the motion said, the way he said we receive up to 20,000 applications. And these applications, if they are sorted manually, it will take months, if not years. And the use of artificial intelligence is going to assist us in the sorting and grading of applications. Artificial intelligence is also very critical when it comes to checking qualifications and professional requirements. And this, again, is something that can be done expeditiously. And we are looking at the shortlisting of candidates, which is also going to be done faster, given that once the shortlisting algorithms are set, the artificial intelligence will just do it for us. The ranking of applications is also going to be done by artificial intelligence. We have heard other debaters mentioning critically that artificial intelligence knows no relatives. Artificial intelligence knows no brothers. And with artificial intelligence, this is going to assist us, especially when it comes to the ranking of applicants using the algorithm which would have been set. Artificial intelligence can also assist when it comes to the detection of incomplete applications. You can imagine one would have submitted applications only for one to realize that the application was incomplete. But if applications are submitted with the guidance of artificial intelligence, this is going to assist in quickly detecting applications that are incomplete. So, as we move forward, how is this going to assist us? With regards to speed and efficiency, I've already alluded to this, where the manual system is going to take time. Artificial intelligence also assists us when it comes to merit-based recruitment. We have seen in the media where nurses, prospective teachers have gone for training only to be discovered maybe 1 year or 2 years after the training has already commenced, only to be discovered that their qualifications were fake. And we are saying this can also be assisted when it comes to artificial intelligence. Then the issue of rural staffing shortages. Madam Speaker, ma'am, we have seen nurses and teachers who have deliberately indicated that they would want to practice in rural areas. But when you have got a heap of applications going above 20,000, manually sifting through applications of more than 20,000 is not an easy task. But once this is subjected to go through artificial intelligence, this is going to assist in identifying applicants who would want to work in rural areas. This is going to assist us, especially when it comes to the implementation of government policy of inclusivity and ensuring that no place is going to be left behind. Issues of transparency, they have been mentioned already, but again, this is a very critical issue. We have got ZAC, we have got institutions that are meant to promote efficiency and ensuring that there is no bias when it comes to recruitment. And this is going to assist, especially on transparency. And as I conclude, Madam Speaker, ma'am, there are a number of issues where concerns are likely to be raised. The issue of bias. The algorithms of artificial intelligence, they can also be set in a way that it can actually create bias. So one would want to make sure that as we come up with artificial intelligence, as we build up the system should also be done by people who are transparent. Because at the end of the day, the artificial intelligence can actually be set in a way that is going to be biased. So we would want to make sure that as we embrace artificial intelligence, let it be done by people who are of high standing. And then we are also looking at issues to do with addressing agent problems. In as much as artificial intelligence is going to assist, human factor is still needed when it comes to compassionate cases. I would want to give you an example where, even at personal level, I've observed one or two people from my constituency, people of humble backgrounds. They've been assisted by well-wishers to go to school. They are staying with a grandmother who is disabled. And when we have got such a case that requires compassionate approach, we have gone to the Public Service Commission to say, we have got this case where we would want you to consider on compassionate grounds. And where we are using artificial intelligence, it may not have that compassion. So as much as we use artificial intelligence, we also want to make sure that the human component is going to remain embedded. So, Madam Speaker, ma'am, as I conclude, I would want to support the motion by Honorable Bajila, which speaks to the transformation that we are going through as a country. If you check our NDS 2, coming from NDS 1, transformation, the use of digitization in making decision is in the forefront. And artificial intelligence is one such, which is part of the digitization agenda of this country. And I fully support the motion by Honorable Bajila. But as we adopt the motion, we also need to take into account that the human factor should still remain embedded in the artificial intelligence, because where we've got cases like the one I mentioned, where there is need for compassionate considerations, we would need the human factor. But otherwise, I support the motion by Honorable Bajila. I so submit.
Thank you, Honorable Chuduwa. Honorable Makumire.
Totenda mbatwe chigaro no kundipa mukana kuti ndiise mazwi pa motion inokosha yakasimudzwa nevanoremekedzwa Honorable Bajila. Nyaya iri kusimudzwa pano mubato wechigaro inyaya inoratidza kuoma kwazvo kana kunetsa kwave kuita kupinda chikoro choukoti nechoudzidzisi kwatingati kunursing kana kuteaching pachirungu. Sezvarebwa kuti vanoda nzvimbo vazhinji kwazvo, asi nzvimbo dzacho dziri shoma shoma. Tinoziva isu mubati wechigaro kuti pose paitika chinhu chinodikanwa neruzhinji asi chiri chishoma, mugomo wazvo hauna kunaka. Tinoona isu kuti zvazarura mukana wewori, kunursing kwakupindwa nevanhu vanenge vaine mari, kunursing kwakupindwa nevanhu vanenge vane hama dzavo dzemapato anenge ane simba rokuinfluenza madecisions. Tinoona isu mubati wechigaro kuti kunursing kwakupindwa nevanhu vanenge vachiti uyu unobva kumusha kwangu, uyu une mutupo wangu, uyu takakura tose. Saka izvozvo zvatikanganisa kwose kunursing nokuteaching. Kachitarisa mari dzeuori dziri kubhadharwa kuti munhu anga achipinda kunursing kana kuteaching, imari dzokuti munhu unogona kupedza gore rose achishanda kuti aiwane. Mugumo wazvo mubato wechigaro unongotiratidza kuti sehurumende pane zvimwe zvatatadza kugadzirisa zvatisvitsa patasvika apa. Zvino motion iyi yauya nenyaya yakanaka kuti dambudziko rauya iri riri kugadzirwa navanhu vari mumahofisi riri kukonzerwa nevanhu vanokwanisa kuita influence madecisions kuvanhu vari mumahofisi. Saka nyaya yechizvino zvino yatingati ICT yakandombundirwa nenyaya yeAI yataurwa pano inobetsera kuti ruoko rwomunhu, pfungwa dzemunhu zviite zvishoma panyaya yekuti ndiani opinda papa, ndiani opinda apo. Saka zvazvinobetsera mubato wechigaro, motion iyi ndoda kuitsigira zvakanyanya nokuti zvinobetsera kuti zvinhu zvose zvinopepetwa nechizvino zvino munhu unongozopuwa zvinhu zvakuda, uye chirongwa ichi cheAI chinobetsera kuti chinotigadzirira mawaiting list achinotevedzera kuti kana vanhu vose vachikwana pakupinda chinotibetsera kuti uyu wakatanga uyu akazotevera kumashure, nokuti iko zvino muchaona kuti kuna munhu ane more than 10 years mubato wechigaro achiaplya nursing achingoshayiwa nzvimbo asi zvokupindisa ainazvo. Kune munhu wane more than 10 years achiaplya kuteaching asi achishayiwa, kwete nokuti haqualify asi nokuti haana mari yechioko muhomwe, kana kuti haana munhu wezvematongerwo enyika une simba kuda ndi MP, kuda ndi kansela, kuda ndiani unokwanisa kumupinza. Saka izvi zvaita kuti vane chido chekuinda kunursing vasina mari havachaindi. Asi tinoziva isu kuti nyika yedu ichikanaka mabasa aya ana nursing aya aiva mabasa evanhu vane moyo wokubetsera, pachirungu ainzi careers of passion. Ko zvinezvi munhu wese wakutongoenda kuona kuti nyika ina mabasa. Saka tinoda kuti mubato wechigaro kushomeka kwenzvimbo dzekunursing nekuteaching kusava kunokanganiswa nevanhu vanondyire, nevanhu vanoda kufuma nedambudziko riri mukati menyika. Saka chirongwa cheAI tiri kutoti chanonoka mubato wechigaro. Dei zvakasira kutoitwa kuti gore rinouya chairo kana iro rineri kana zvisati zvapfuura zvishande, hurumende ive nedatabase rinomanejwa nechizvino zvino ichi, kuti wakapedzisira kuaplya asatangira ukatanga. Ndoziva kuti vazhinji vanorya nehore uhu havafari, kunyange vari mumba muno vanorya nacho havafari, asi izvi zvakatinakira senyika nokuti munhu wese uchachifarira kuti chirongwa chauya ichi nehurumende chakanaka. Saka ndaitoshuva kuti dai makurukota anobatwa nenyaya iyi anga ari muno achizvinzwira tichivaonesa kukosha kwazvo, vaindoita chimbi chimbi kuti zvinhu izvi zvitange kutoitwa, nokuti isu tinozviona zvinhu zvakanaka. Vana vedu vazhinji vakuenda kunana Zambia, vobuda kunze kwenyika, vapedza voshandira ikoko, zvobetsera nyika dzavaenda. Yedu yasara isina nyanzvi dzine chido dzekubetsera vanhu. Saka mubato wechigaro handidi kumawanza, ndoda kutsigira motion iyi. Ndatenda.
Tatenda Mazvita. Honorable Mtokonyi. Honorable Mazhindu.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I rise to support this progressive motion and forward-looking. Firstly, the motion correctly notes the demand for nursing and teacher training place in Zimbabwe far exceeds available spaces. Every year, thousands of qualified young Zimbabweans apply, yet only a fraction is admitted.
This creates frustration, suspicion, and in some cases, allegations of unfairness. Where opportunity is limited, the selection process must be beyond reproach. Secondly, the manual shortlisting systems are indeed prone to delays, inconsistencies, and lack of transparency. Human systems, no matter how well intentioned, are vulnerable to error, fatigue, bias, and sometimes undue influence. In critical sectors such as health and education, where merit, competence, and directly affect service delivery, we cannot afford inefficiencies. Madam Speaker, the motion does not propose replacing human judgment with machines. It proposes piloting artificial intelligence as a tool, a regulated supervised system to enhance efficiency, fairness, and merit-driven selection. When properly designed, AI can process thousands of applications within minutes, apply consistent criteria uniformly to all candidates, reduce human bias, eliminate favoritism, generate auditable records and enhance accountability, improve transparency through clear scoring and mechanisms. Zimbabwe has already committed itself to digital transformation. If we are serious about innovation, we must be prepared to modernize our administrative systems, especially in high-demand public institutions. Madam Speaker, constituencies in urban areas have capable students who are sometimes disadvantaged by opaque systems. A properly regulated AI pilot would level the playing field, ensuring that selection is based on qualifications, performance, and clearly defined criteria. Of course, the regard must be put in place a clear regulated oversight, protection of personal data, periodic audits of algorithm, human review of appeals, human reviews for appeals. This is why the motion proposes a pilot program, not a wholesale replacement. A pilot allows us to test, evaluate, and refine before full implementation. If we modernize our selection systems in teacher and nurse training, we strengthen the very foundation of our nation, education and healthcare. Honorable Speaker, innovation is not a threat to governance. It is an instrument to improve governance. Let us embrace technology responsibly and ensure that opportunity in Zimbabwe is determined by merit, not by manual inefficiencies. I therefore submit. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Majindu. The next member to take the floor is Honorable Chigumbu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It is my pleasure to contribute to this very important motion. I have been listening to the presenters who have been debating this motion. I think they've been doing their best to emphasize how important AI can be in a society. However, Mr. Speaker said, I would like to point out that in as much as AI is a very useful tool, AI cannot be referred to as a magic wand which cures a broken culture. Mr. Speaker, I want to applaud Honorable Bajila for bringing up this motion. However, I would like to debate in a way that I will offer sort of amendments to the prayers that he has been raising in his motion by saying that, do we really need artificial intelligence to fix our broken culture? Do we really need technology to fix our broken culture? I don't think that's the case, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, AI has never been meant to fix a broken culture. AI has been meant to be used as a tool to amplify progress. If you are to wake up today and say we want to come up with an AI solution for recruitment, the first thing that we must ask ourselves is, why are we having this problem in the first place? Is the problem as a result of lack of technology? Or is the problem as a result of a certain culture that has been embedded in our society? Mr. Speaker, we can come up with the best AI solution today, but if you don't fix the right problem, that intervention will not be of any use, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are systems that are there that are actually being used for the very same purpose that we want AI to address. My point, Mr. Speaker, as I was hearing others debating, they were saying AI is going to be used to make sure that it streamlines applications. But that can easily be done by knowledge and expert systems, Mr. Speaker. Because what they are simply saying is, we want a person who has got 5 O-levels to be shortlisted through a sort of a software intervention. There are systems that are there, Honorable Speaker, that can just follow simple logic, if and else logic, Mr. Speaker. If a student applies and has got 5 O-levels, allow him or allow her to progress with the application. Else, block the child from the student from progressing. These are very simple systems that are out there that we can use. These systems, Honorable Speaker, they are tested, they are tried and tested. The issue with AI, Mr. Speaker, is that it's still an experimental technology. The issue with the AI, Mr. Speaker, is that it carries certain biases. So if we sit today and debate to say we want these systems to be adopted for the purposes of recruitment, we have a problem, Honorable Speaker, whereby if a child is discriminated by this very system, how are they going to seek recourse? We don't have laws, Mr. Speaker, that address the issues of biases that comes through the use of artificial intelligence. So, before we talk of artificial intelligence, Mr. Speaker, there are things that needs to be fixed. And I think the major problem that has led to Honorable Bajila to pen this motion is a decay in culture. The problem, Honorable Speaker, is that we have inculcated a culture whereby we no longer believe in meritocracy as a nation. We are people now who do things based on who do you know and who do you not know. I've overheard some honorable members, having conversations. They were saying, Honorable Speaker, the time for these institutions to enroll students has come. I'm going to talk to the minister so that he can enroll 5 students from my constituents. Some of them, they will be using their political party positions to force those who enroll or those who lead the enrollment process to take students that come from their constituencies or from their political parties. So what we need, Honorable Speaker, is to fix the culture, the broken culture. Then when it comes to technology, Honorable Speaker, I concur with Honorable Bajila that we definitely need a technological intervention when it comes to enrollment. But I also have to differ a bit. This has to be a whole of government approach. You cannot have a piecemeal solution, Honorable Speaker, to this problem. So what we need, Honorable Speaker, we need a proper recruitment platform for all...
Order, Honorable Chikumbo.
Okay.
You made mention of hearing honorable members that then asked that you said they said to you that they will speak to the minister to enroll 5 of their people from their constituencies and their parties. Because the moment you say such kind of a statement, you need to substantiate. Please take your seat.
Okay.
You need to substantiate that with hard evidence, because that now becomes an allegation, and in this house we don't want to operate like that. So I think that if you are not in a position to say who they are, maybe just withdraw that statement and carry on with your fine debate. We don't want to put allegations on any honorable member here.
Okay, Honorable Speaker. I didn't say they told me. I said I overheard them making such statement. The point that I'm trying to drive, Honorable Speaker, is that the culture is that which is broken, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Gumbu.
Yes.
That is exactly what I'm saying, that if you overheard, so it means you saw them, so you know them. Are in a position to name them.
Honorable Speaker, I can rephrase, but the point that I want to make is what the problem that you are having is not a software problem, Honorable Speaker. The problem is the broken culture. We all know that when the time comes, most of the people in this house, when they want votes, they abuse the system to make sure that their people are enrolled in those institutions without following proper procedures. So the problem, Honorable Speaker, is not about the software. The problem is about the broken culture. That's the point that I'm trying to drive. And I then gave an example of what I came across as a member of parliament to say there are such kind of talks among us ourselves where people will say, I've got 5 of my students who want to be enrolled. I will have to talk to the minister. Yet the process must be like this. The ministry should just open up for students to enroll, and they are supposed to enroll without any assistance from any political powerhouse. That's the point that I'm driving home, Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much. Let me progress. I think I'm about to finish. The other thing that I also want to emphasize, Honorable Speaker, is the motion that has been brought by Honorable Bajila should also expose what we are lacking as a nation when it comes to open access data policy, Honorable Speaker. Like I said, I wouldn't want to support this motion to address the problem that's being faced by nurses and teachers. Yet the very same problem, Honorable Speaker, is being faced by other departments in government ministries. So I would want a solution, Honorable Speaker, that is wholesome in nature, not a solution, Honorable Speaker, that is a piecemeal in nature. So the point that I'm trying to make now, Honorable Speaker, is we need certain policies to be enacted, to be developed, Honorable Speaker, so that we allow for the whole of government approach in terms of dealing with issues of such nature, Honorable Speaker. Like, for instance, Honorable Speaker, we have got a lot of data collection centers in our government ministries. But these data collection centers, Honorable Speaker, they don't communicate, they don't talk to each other. Why? Because as a nation, we have made sure that we don't allow general citizens, we don't even allow institutions to have that interoperability when it comes to the access and utilization of a public collected data, Honorable Speaker. So there are certain rules that needs to be put in place first before we start to talk about having such kind of interventions. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, the point that I also want to drive home is, in IT we say GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. Honorable Speaker, the problem that we have, if we are to implement artificial intelligence is simply a data-hungry animal. It's something that operates based on the data that it would have been fed. So what we need first, if we are to say maybe we want to implement artificial intelligence around these areas, we need to be very serious. We need to come up with measures where we clean the data that we currently have. Because the biases are already embedded in the data that we have at the moment. And if you are to wake up and say, let us have artificial intelligence solutions, what it simply means is the artificial intelligence solution will simply learn the biases that is already laced in this data that we have. So we also now need policies that allows us to start to clean data in a way that when our AI algorithms consume that data, they come up with unbiased outputs. We also need to make sure that, Honorable Speaker, when we also implement these AI algorithms...
Order. It's Honorable Bajila and all. Do you think you can lower your voices so that Honorable Gumbu can be heard in considerable silence? And Honorable Gumbu, why don't you get some water? Your voice is cracking now. Yeah, take a bit of a sip. Now come back and finish up.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think it's better now. Okay, so the point that I was trying to make is I got interrupted, Honorable Speaker, is that we need to come up with policies that are also address the issue of how we collect data in a way that the data is palatable with the AI algorithms and gives us outputs that are not biased. So currently, Honorable Speaker, we have data that is already laced with a lot of biases. And even if we are to use that for our AI algorithms, but that's the very same data that we use to train these algorithms, we will still have the same problem. So we also need to address that first. As I conclude, my Honorable Speaker, I would like to say the motion that has been brought by Honorable Bajila is a very good motion. But this motion, Honorable Speaker, should not only point us to a software intervention, but it must also point us to a cultural shift, Honorable Speaker. It must also point us to a point where we should sit down as a nation and say, how do we have to run our things? Do we have to be partisan in every facet of the society, whereby we have to belong to a certain political party for you to be enrolled in a certain institution, or you have to know a certain person from a higher place for you to increase your chances of being enrolled at a certain institution? And lastly, Honorable Speaker, we must have a whole of government approach to this problem. I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Chigumbu. My next honorable member to take the floor is Honorable Makope.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice on the motion raised by Honorable Bajila and seconded by Honorable Hamauswa. The motion is very, very important. Mr. Speaker, I really support this motion, and I fully associate myself with the compelling arguments advanced by the mover. The prayers are very clear, but what is being proposed, Mr. Speaker, is not a novel concept, but a logical progression of a direction that our government has already been taken. We have seen our esteemed government, led by His Excellency Dr. Edim Nangaba, embracing these digital solutions, the artificial intelligence. It is well enshrined in our NDS 2. Again, recently we have witnessed the launch of artificial intelligence strategy 2026 to 2030. It was done here at this building. Again, those are some of it's part of the evidence that our government is already taking position and embracing this noble idea. So the Second Republic, Mr. Speaker, says already in fact demonstrated commitment to artificial intelligence. As an enabler for efficiency, transparent, accountable public service delivery, particularly in critical sectors such as education and health, as it has been mentioned in the prayer of our motion. Mr. Speaker, the proposal before this House is simply about the implementation and operationalizing this already embraced idea or already adopted idea. So experiences from other jurisdictions further affirmed the practicality of this approach. In Estonia, Singapore, China, and even the USA, artificial intelligence and digital systems are already being utilized in public administration, where that digitalization will remove human error or bias and even improve the efficiency. So applications are assessed against a uniform, predefined criteria, thereby strengthening transparency, consistency, and public confidence in outcomes. Equally important, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of efficiency. Countries such as India and United Arab Emirates have successfully deployed artificial intelligence-driven systems to manage large volumes of applications in public sector recruitment. These systems significantly reduce processing time, eliminate administrative bottlenecks, and ensure that deserving candidates are identified in timely and accurate. For Zimbabwe, where demand for nursing and teacher training places far exceeds available capacity, this presents a practical and necessary solution, particularly in the sorting and the processing of the applicants. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to agree with the emphasis that has been made by other presenters or other debaters that artificial intelligence is the solution to the problem where we have the applicants for nursing and teachers and teaching. They get places because they know who you are or you are related to, whatever. I don't think that is true. When the government embraced this artificial intelligence, it was mainly to make sure that we improve in the efficiency of our work. Because when it comes to the cultural decadence that has been re-emphasized, I think our government has already been anchored on the Ubuntu or UNU that and thus even supported by the government watchdogs, which we have with police. So whenever we have any challenge or any evidence of corruption in our communities, police is there to investigate. We also have the commission, which is very independent, that has already been established, ZAG, Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. It is there, again, to address such issues. So the issues of cultural decadence, I think those can be addressed separately from the artificial intelligence. So the main task of this artificial intelligence on our desk is to make sure that we move with the time, we digitalize our operations in the public service, in the administration of all government sectors that need the artificial intelligence to make sure that we improve in time. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, this motion does not seek to introduce an unfair concept, but rather to align implementation with the policy and to draw from proven international experience in order to enhance credibility and efficiency in the recruitment system of our government entities. So basically, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Bajila by bringing up this issue of artificial intelligence, but again, I want to applaud our esteemed government and our visionary leader, His Excellency Dr. Idi Mnangagwa, for already embracing this important aspect in our governance. We have seen that in the NDS2, we have seen that in the launch of this artificial intelligence at this building. So our government is already in the right trajectory of embracing artificial intelligence as to move with other nations in the globe. So I submit, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Makope. The next honorable member to take the floor is Honorable Kangau Saru.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and greetings from Hurungi. I rise to support this motion, the adoption of artificial intelligence assisted system in the recruitment and the shortlisting of student nurses and student teachers in Zimbabwe. I support this motion, Mr. Speaker, sir, not by restating its premise, but by sharpening its agents and locating it within the broader architecture of governance, public trust, and state capacity. At its core, this is not a mere technological proposal, but a governance reform proposition. Mr. Speaker, say, across modern public administration, recruitment integrity become a defining metric of state of credibility. While selection systems are trusted, institutions are strengthened. Where they are doubted, even the most qualified output are viewed with suspicion. What we are therefore confronting is not only insufficiency, but a credibility deficiency that risks the legitimatization entire training pipeline in health and education system. Evidence from global public sector reforms indicate that digital and AI-assisted recruitment systems can reduce administrative processing time by up to 70%, while significantly improving consistency in candidate evaluation. Most importantly, such systems introduce decision traceability, whereby every shortlisting outcome can be audited, reconstructed, and justified. That single feature, Mr. Speaker said, is the transformative. It replaces opacity with accountability. We must also appreciate the microeconomic dimension of this issue. Zimbabwe is a net exporter of skilled labor, particularly in nursing and teaching. Our professionals are globally competitive. However, if the entry point into this profession is compromised, we risk degrading the very quality that underpins the comparative advantage. In economic terms, this is a threat to our human capital pipeline. Countries that have digitized recruitment, such as Estonia, widely recognized for its e-government systems, have demonstrated that integrity at the point of entry translate into higher, longer-term institutional performance. Similarly, India's adoption of AI-assisted admission system has shown measurable reductions in disputes and appeals because outcomes are perceived as procedurally fair. Mr. Speaker said, there is also a constitutionalism argument that must be advanced further. Administrative justice is not only about fairness in outcome, it is about procedural rationality. AI systems, when properly designed enforce rule-based decision-making. They limit arbitrary discretion, which is often the breeding ground for corruption. In that sense, AI becomes not just a tool of efficiency, but an instrument of constitutional compliance. Mr. Speaker, sir, however, for this House to be taken seriously, we must go beyond endorsement and speak to implementation architecture. First, the pilot proposed in the motion must be accompanied by a clear regulatory sandbox. This allows controlled experimentation while safeguarding rights. It ensures that the system is tested, refined, and validated before a full-scale deployment. Secondly, there must be arithmetic governance. This includes independent audit of an AI models, clear documentation of selection criteria, mechanism for appeal, and human review. Without this, we risk replacing human bias with automated bias, which is more dangerous and less visible problem. Thirdly, data integrity must be prioritized. AI systems are only credible as the data they ingest. This requires integration with the verified national database for academic qualification and identity management. If we digitize a flawed data set, we simply accelerate injustice. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me also introduce a critical but often overlooked dimension: equity of access. Zimbabwe is a rural majority. An AI-driven recruitment platform must not inadvertently disadvantage applicants with limited digital access. Therefore, parallel access points, such as district-level application centers, must be maintained to ensure inclusivity. Technology must not become a new barrier, Mr. Speaker, sir. What is particularly compelling about this reform is scalability. If successfully implemented, this model can be extended beyond nursing and teaching training and into public service recruitment, university admission, scholarship allocation systems. In effect, this motion has the potential to catalyze a broad digital transformation of merit-based selection across the country. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to be candid. Corruption in recruitment is not sustained by complicity. It is sustained by discretion without accountability. AI, when properly governed, constrains that discretion. It standardizes judgment. It records decision. It exposes anomalies. In doing so, it shifts the system from that is person-dependent to one that is process-driven. Mr. Speaker, sir, the attached motion already established the factual and legal basis for reform. What this House must now do is to demonstrate political will, because ultimately, technology does not reform systems, but leadership does. This motion is therefore an opportunity to restore public confidence, to protect meritocracy, to modernize state functions, and to align Zimbabwe with the global best practice in digital governance. Mr. Speaker, sir, in fact, if we fail to act, we entrained a system where opportunity is negotiated. If we act decisively, we build a system where opportunity is earned. That is the choice before this House. I thank you. So I submit, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kangau Saru. Right now, at this moment, I'll call upon Honorable Bajila to wind up your motion.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Point
Speaker.
of order.
Yes, Honorable Tlatwayo.
Yes, I want to debate.
The normal diagram of the House, Honorable Flatwayo, is that if you want to debate on a certain motion, you inform your chief whips, because here I'll be having a list of members that would want to debate on that motion. So to keep the tidiness, we would love to always follow that, so that we don't end up opening it up to some sort of clumsiness. And you being you, I know that you are a very understanding honorable member who will just take a seat right now and then do it the proper way the next time. I have trust in you.
I was not going to be long, with your indulgence. I will do that next time, but I was not going to be long. I was going to be very fast. You know, if you can just give me 5 minutes, that would be even.
Okay, because you are always a loyal, I'll give you that that indulgence. You may go ahead. So 2 minutes, you said, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support this motion by Honorable Bajila and supported by Honorable Hamauswa. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, I wanted to give context because I think context is very key. The use of artificial intelligence-based system in recruitment in a country such as ours, Mr. Speaker, where the propensity for bias and clientelism on the basis of race, economic status, tribe, political affiliation is novel and a welcome policy measure. Mr. Speaker, there is no doubt that we need to move with the times. We are in the 4th industrial revolution and artificial intelligence has become an integral part of today's life. Artificial intelligence-based recruitment measures drives efficiency by automating repetitive tasks such as screening thousands of applications. In a country such as ours where unemployment is high and where applications tend to be oversubscribed, artificial intelligence-based recruitment system will significantly reduce the time of sifting through these many applications. In fact, Mr. Speaker, research has shown that artificial intelligence reduces time to hire by up to 75%. Artificial intelligence ultimately lowers hiring cost through streamlining the hiring process and reducing the administrative workload. Thus, government can significantly save resources. Mr. Speaker, artificial intelligence-based recruitment systems enhances candidate quality, where human-based recruitment systems tend to sacrifice meritocracy in favor of patronage and corruption. Artificial intelligence-based systems enhance candidate quality through precise data-driven matching. Machine learning algorithms analyze applicant skills and experience against the job requirements to identify the best suitable candidate, therefore leading to more qualified hires. Artificial intelligence, Mr. Speaker, also enhances diversity in line with the various provisions of our national constitution to ensure women, people from ethnic minorities, youths, the disabled, among others, are also recruited. By eliminating demographic information, AI removes both implicit and explicit bias. Companies such as Unilever, who have used AI in their recruitment processes, have reported, Mr. Speaker, a 16% increase in terms of diversity. AI-based recruitment often results in enhanced candidate experience through the use of AI chatbots with 24/7 interaction, responding to applicants in real time, thus keep applicants engaged. We know how lack of responsiveness has been a big challenge in many of our government departments, and therefore the prayer by this particular motion is timely because it will enhance responsiveness. By adopting artificial intelligence-based recruitment systems, transparency will be enhanced, and this will rebuild public trust in government recruitment processes. This motion is transformative, Mr. Speaker, and it is one that we must embrace. I fully support this motion. I so submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sachwai. I'm glad you kept your word and you kept it short and precise. That is a good spirit. Honorable Bajila.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I really want to express so much gratitude to members for the debate that they have done on this motion, which shows that as a nation, we are interested in moving forward together in bringing artificial intelligence to the development of our human capital. With those words, Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopts the motion.
I put the question that the motion be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the motion is adopted.
Good evening, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yes.
I move that orders number 20 be stood over until order 21 has been disposed of. I thank you.
Who seconds?
I second, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay, notice of motion number 21, Honorable Mateu.
Motion number 21, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Who seconds?
I second, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Maburutse. Before I give you the floor, Honorable Mateo, honorable members, I have an announcement to make. I have to inform the House that I have received a non-adverse report from the Parliamentary Legal Committee on Tourism Bill HB 7A 2025. And I have another announcement pertaining to House decorum. This will apply mostly to our male members of Parliament. If you remember, we spoke about attire the other time when the Honourable Speaker of this House asked me to convey a message to you. And today again, I will repeat the same message on attire. It must be noted, honourable members, that when you put on these presidential shirts, as much as you know that they are not in our standing orders, but the honourable Speaker was good enough to indulge us, let us make sure that we button up to the last button, the top button. That is what you call formal. So we don't want to see people's chests, whether they are hairy or not. We want formal dressing. So every member of Parliament must make sure that they button up to the last button. If you don't do that, next time we will ask you to leave the House and go and dress properly. So please be guided accordingly. Thank you very much. Now, all this you can find under our standing orders number 80. If you read from standing order number 80, 1 up to 5, it will guide you accordingly. Thank you. Honorable Mateo, you may take the floor. Honorable Deputy Chief Whip, please approach the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise to give the Public Accounts Committee report on the audited financial statements for the National Handling Services in the Auditor General's report on state-owned enterprises and parastatals for the year end 31 December 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, Section 299 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe provides that Parliament must monitor and oversee expenditure by the state and all commissions and institutions and agencies of government at every level, including statutory bodies, government-controlled entities, provincial and metropolitan councils, and local authorities. In line with that, the Public Accounts Committee analyzed the National Handling Services NHS financial statements in light of the findings of the Auditor General on the state-owned and parastatals accounts for the year end December 31, 2023. This report highlights PAC's findings, observations, and recommendations to address the audit issues identified. The objectives of this inquiry were to scrutinize issues in the AG's report, to assess the status of implementation of recommendations by the Auditor General and challenges faced by the National Handling Services in doing so, and to proffer recommendations to address the issues raised in the AG's report. Our methodology: the committee conducted an oral evidence session with the officials of the National Handling Services. Furthermore, the committee held a workshop on the analysis of the AG's report for the financial year end 14 to 17 March 2025 at Rainbow Hotel in Bulawayo. The committee findings: the Auditor General noted that the company did not consolidate the financial statements of its subsidiary in Namibia, NHSCC Namibia Walvis Bay, since 2019. No financial information was availed for audit pertaining to the subsidiary. The acting CEO, Mr. Rambaku Zibwa, submitted that the company did not necessarily face challenges in obtaining the financial information pertaining to NHS. The financial statements could not be consolidated as the subsidiary financials had not been audited. He buttressed that the auditors, with the assistance of the AG's office, were appointed after the 2022 year end to audit all the years from 2019. The committee was informed that the consolidation of the years from 2019 to 2023 was being done. The audit for 2023 was now in its final stages, and they explained it would be completed by the time they convened their AGM. The observations: the committee noted with concern that the failure to consolidate financial statements for a period of 5 years constituted a serious breach of public financial reporting standards. We also observed that the lack of oversight over foreign subsidiaries creates significant financial risks. The committee also observed that delays in completing audit compromises the accuracy of consolidated financial statements. Furthermore, we recommended, the committee recommended that NHS should complete all pending consolidations by 30 September 2026 and submit to the committee. That NHS should forthwith implement quarterly financial reporting requirements for all its subsidiaries. That NHS should establish a clear accountability measures for subsidiary financial management by June 30, 2026. Utilization of the SAP system. The Auditor General noted that the company did not fully utilize the subsystem after years of its implementation. As a result, inventory and assets register were maintained on Excel. The committee was informed that the company maintained stocks in Excel to the year end 31 December 2023. Maintenance of stocks in SAP stated in the 2024, and the stocks were now being maintained. Acting CEO further submitted that to ensure that staff members were equipped to use the SAP system effectively, they were trained by a certified consultant for basic SAP operations. Plans were underway to train SAP users, and this had been slated for 2025. The committee was informed that the financial accounting and materials management modules were currently being used optimally. Additionally, the controlling mode had been onboarded and was being partially utilized with full implementation expected in 2025. The committee noted with concern that the continued use of Excel, despite significant investment in the subsystem, represents poor utilization of public resources. It further observed that the incomplete implementation of the system had exposed the organization to internal control risks. Furthermore, the committee highlighted that delayed staff training hindered full adoption of the system. The recommendations of the committee were that the NHS should complete full implementation of the subsystem by 30 September 2026 and mandate all departments to immediately migrate from Excel to the SAP platform. The NHS should conduct monthly progress reviews on system utilization. That NHS should allocate a budget for ongoing staff training and system upgrades by 31 December 2026. That the NHS should complete all pending consolidations and submit them to the committee by 31 July 2026. The consolidation must comply with section 49 2 subsection C of the Public Finance Management Act. Then we come on clearing account reconciliations. The Auditor General noted that the company's internal controls over cash were not adequate. As a result, reconciliations of the cash sales receivable control account were not done as at year end, and the balance of Zimbabwean dollar 263.8 million was not reconciled to the relevant receivables accounts. The acting CEO submitted that the 263.8 million balance in accounts receivables was reconciled and cleared at the end of the year, December 31, 2023. The reconciliations of these balances were now being performed daily. The company employed station cashiers and deployed them at all the stations to perform receivables conciliations at source. The committee observed that the unreconciled amount indicates serious control deficiencies. Daily reconciliations, while improved, remain reactive rather than preventive. Cash management systems require a modernization. Our recommendation was to implement automated reconciliations by 31 December 2026 and to conduct surplus account audits quarterly, strengthen supervision of cash handling staff, and to develop clear escalation procedures for reconciliation discrepancies by 30 September 2026. In conclusion, the committee acknowledges NHS efforts to address audit findings but emphasizes the need for urgent comprehensive reforms. The organization must prioritize financial discipline, system modernization, and accountability. Progress of these recommendations should be submitted to Parliament quarterly through the Portfolio Committee on Transport when submitting quarterly reports. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mateu. The question before the House is a motion by Honorable Mateu. Order. As we gara panzeri, ndikuti order udazokuti gara. The question before the House is a motion by Honorable Mateu that this House considers and adopts the report of the Public Accounts Committee on the audited financial statements for National Handling Services, NHS, in the Auditor General's report on state-owned enterprises for the year ended 31st December 2023, SC 36 2025. Is there any debate? I recognize Honorable Maburutse.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir. I rise to second the report of the Public Accounts Committee on the audited financial statement for the National Handling Services in the Auditor's General Report on state-owned enterprises and parastatals for the year ended 31 December 2023, presented by the chairperson of the committee, Honorable C. Mateo. The report before us lays bare serious financial management deficiencies at National Handling Services, a key state-owned enterprise. I will highlight the principal findings and observations, and I urge all honorable members to support the recommendation as the necessary step towards restoring fiscal discipline and accountability. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to begin with the matter of the subsidiary in Namibia. The Auditor General noted that the company failed to consolidate the financial statements of its subsidiary, NHS CC Namibia Walvis Bay, since 2019. For 5 years, no financial information was availed for audit. The acting CEO submitted that consolidation was ongoing and expected to be finalized by mid-December 2024. And the committee observed that this failure constituted a serious breach of public financing reporting standards and created significant financial risks. To resolve this, the committee recommended that National Handling Services complete all pending consolidation by 30 September 2026, implement quarterly financial reporting for all subsidiaries and establish clear accountability measures for subsidiary financial management by 30 June 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, the second area of concern, the utilization of the SAP system. The Auditor General found that years after its implementation, the company had not fully utilized the system's modules, resulting in inefficiency and the asset register being maintained on Excel. The committee was informed that SAP stock maintenance started in 2024 and that staff training was planned for 2025. The committee observed that the continued use of Excel, despite significant investment in the SAP system, represents poor utilization of public resources and exposes the organization to internal control risks. As a remedy, the committee recommends full implementation of the SAP system by 30 September 2026, with a mandate for full departments to migrate from Excel, monthly progress reviews, and the allocation of a budget for ongoing staff training and the system upgrades by 31 December 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, the third area relates to the clearing accounts reconciliation. The committee observed that the unreconciled amounts indicate serious control deficiencies and that daily reconciliation remain reactive rather than preventative. To address this, the committee recommended that National Handling Services implement automated reconciliation by 31 December 2026, conduct surprise cash audits quarterly, strengthen supervision of cash handling staff, and develop clear escalation procedures for reconciliation discrepancies by 30 September 2026. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee's report does not diminish the importance of national handling services. On the contrary, it affirms its critical role in our aviation and logistics infrastructure. The challenges identified relating to the subsidiary oversight, system underutilization, and cash reconciliation are interconnected but solvable. With disciplined implementation of the committee's recommendations, strengthens oversight, and a commitment to transparency, national handling services can be repositioned to fulfill its mandate effectively and accountably. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I submit.
Thank you, Honorable Mabudutse. I call upon the government Deputy Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that the debate be now adjourned.
Who seconds?
I second, Mr. Speaker, sir.
It has been moved that the debate be now adjourned. Is there any debate? I put the question that the debate be now adjourned. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the debate is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Deputy Chief Whip?
To the 7th of April.
Thank you. I recognize you again.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I move that the House be now adjourned.
Who seconds?
Seconded, Mr. Speaker, sir.
It has been moved that the House do now adjourn. Is there any debate? I put the question that the House do now adjourn. Those who are of that opinion will say aye. Aye. Those of the contrary opinion will say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The question is accordingly affirmed and the House is adjourned. To what day, Honorable Deputy Government Chief Whip?
The 7th of April, Mr. Speaker, sir.
The House is adjourned to the 7th of April. Have a good weekend and a good week, honorable members. Thank you.